It is time to do the Chicago Bears midway point of the season recap and give you guys kind of my grades here halfway through the season. So with that being said, what is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports all back at it with another video talking, of course, man, I feel like here to talk about the Chicago Bears and here to talk about my grades for the Bears midway through the season. Now, we are 8 games into the season, technically, halfway point of 17, really not going to be a number that's even, right? You're basically talking about 8.5. So, but you're basically there, right? And so that's why I want to talk about kind of this halftime report, if you will, of the season. How have the Bears looked thus far through 8 games and kind of hand out grades for the entire team. So with that being said, if you are new to the channel, make sure to go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button. Make sure to follow me on all my social media platforms. Bears coverage all season long, people. You don't want to miss out. Let's get into it. Okay, so we'll actually start with the record, even though I really don't care that much about wins and losses this season, as I've told you guys. But let's just talk about it real quickly here. So the Chicago Bears thus far through 8 games are 3-5. 3 wins, 5 losses. Their 3 wins have come against the 49ers, the Texans, and the Patriots. Their 5 losses have come against the Commanders, the Packers, the Vikings, the Giants, and the Cowboys. Okay? Taking a look at the wins, 49ers one was impressive, absolutely. A lot of people want to talk about the monsoon being the reason why, but it is what it is. I'll take it. That was an impressive victory for the Chicago Bears. The Texans won. I expected them to beat the Texans. Everybody beats the Texans. They are the worst team in football, and certainly you can make the argument have one of the worst rosters in football. And then the Patriots victory, that was totally unexpected. No one, including myself, saw that coming. They absolutely deserve to have that as their best victory of the entire season, their most impressive victory, and one of their most impressive victories, period, on Monday Night Football, what they did against Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, okay? Talking about their losses, I expected all of these losses that the Bears had, right, against the Packers, the Cowboys, the Vikings, even the Giants, because now we see how good the Giants are at being 6-2. The only one that hurts, that stings, is the Commanders. We should have beat the Commanders. They're not a good football team. We were a Darnell Mooney catch in the red zone if he had just held on from winning that game and being 4-4 on the year. So honestly, folks, I expected the Bears to be 4-4 based off of the fact that I think they should have won the Commanders game. They're 3-5, and I'll take it. So overall, as far as the Chicago Bears record, it's right about where I thought, maybe a little worse, but not too many complaints about that. All right, let's move over to the quarterback, Justin Fields. We'll start with him. How has he looked through 8 games this season? Now, look, the numbers don't look great. Statistically, 7 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, but he does have 3 rushing TDs as well, so you can add that to his touchdown total. And so you had a kind of a sloppy start for Justin Fields at the beginning of the season, and then he started to really turn it around the last couple of weeks and just kept stacking good performances. So I'm going to give Justin Fields thus far through 8 games a B-. Okay, now hear me out. Over the last 3 weeks, he's been like an A-, but we're talking about the totality of the 8 games right here. He started off good against the 49ers, but then really struggled the next couple of games, almost to the point where it was just, so frustrating to think, is he even the guy moving forward, right? Is he being set up for success? He wasn't making the right reads. He wasn't taking the easy completions. He was just making mental mistakes on and off the field. And so you really didn't like that. And that's why I think a B- is fair, because Justin has struggled, and you can also see it by the numbers. And so I don't think you can give him anything more than a B-, maybe a B at best. But honestly, he's really picked that up over the last 3 weeks. And I think this grade is going to get even higher as we get into the next 9 games of the season. But I'm going to stick with a B- for Justin Fields. All right, let's move on to the run game for the Chicago Bears. So I'm going to give the run game an A. I'm going to give it an A, maybe even an A+, honestly, folks, because this has been the best rushing attack, arguably, you can say, in football. We've got the 2-headed monster of David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert, folks. And our RB2 has outproduced our RB1. Don't believe me? Take a look at the numbers here. Khalil Herbert on 91 carries, 563 yards on 6.2 yards per carry. 92 carries for David Montgomery, so 1 more carry for Monty, and he only produced 361 yards on 3.9 yards per carry. Herbert has outproduced Monty Monty is still the superior pass blocker, and that's why maybe overall has been the better back in terms of that. But as a runner, it's been Herbert. But this rushing attack combined with Justin Fields, oh my goodness, it's been the best in football. You can make the argument. So they deserve an A+. You want to give them that? That's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and say this rushing attack, 2 thumbs up. The best thing about this team thus far through 8 games this season. All right, let's move on to the wide receiving core. I'm going to give this a D to the wide receiving core, folks. It has been abysmal, this passing attack through the air. Now, lately, they've picked it up, but when we're talking about your number 1 receiver, Darnell Mooney, having 25 catches for just 364 yards through 8 games, that's just not going to get it done. Not to mention the fact that he has 0 touchdowns. 0 touchdowns. The receivers have dropped balls. They've, not helped out Justin Fields. They've made mistakes. Like, there's been so much bad play from the receiving core. It's been frustrating, honestly. I just talked about Darnell Mooney, the fact that, if he catches that ball against the Commanders, we win that game. I've seen Velus Jones Jr., the rookie receiver, drop almost a touchdown pass, drop a couple of passes from Justin Fields. Dante Pettis, same thing. Like, there has been a lot of struggle. So to me, you can make the argument this has been the worst receiving core in football, statistically, and the way they play it. And so I can't do it. I can't give them anything better than a D, because if I give them a C, that means they've been average. They have not been average. They've been below average. This receiving core has been. So to me, I'm going to say a D for the receivers. Okay. Tight end. I'm going to stick with the D for this one again. Now, look, Cole Kmet is the main culprit here. We're talking about a guy who's got 14 catches for 159 yards and just 1 touchdown. His first one in 2 years, by the way, through 8 games. Has not really broke out, nothing even close to it. And he was my breakout player for the Bears this year, and I looked like a fool because of it. But Cole Kmet has not impressed. He just looks and feels like a guy out there. That's it. He doesn't do anything special at the tight end position. Now, hopefully that changes for Cole, but it's not been looking good for him this season through the first half. Like, I need more production from Cole Kmet. He should really have been the number 2 receiver in this offense after Darnell Mooney, but he just has not been anything special. And behind him, I mean, it's been pretty much nothing, right? Ryan Griffin and James Osanche is obviously not on the team, but it's really been nothing. You got Travis Wesco, guys like that. So it's been Kmet, and he's not been good. D. All right, let's go to the offensive line. I'm going to give them a C. The reason I'm going to stick with the C is because of the fact that the run blocking has actually been decent, right? We've been able to run the football because the offensive line has been able to run block. Now, pass protection, they have severely lacked in that aspect, but they have gotten better and better. Tevin Jenkins has looked good. Larry Borum has looked good. Sam Usfer was absolutely awful. He got benched. We needed that to happen. We did lose Cody Whitehair there for a little bit. He's going to be back. And then Braxton Jones been a little up and down, has had his struggles. But overall, folks, I'll say C. I'll say C, maybe C minus. But this offensive line, run blocking has been solid. Pass blocking, not great. Overall, still an area that needs to improve for this team moving forward. All right, let's move over to the defense. Now, instead of doing it position by position, I'm just going to give the overall defensive grade through the first 8 games. And I'll say the Bears are about a B minus thus far through 8 games. Now, this grade is probably going to get worse because we just traded away our 2 best defenders in Robert Quinn and Roquan Smith. But honestly, folks, this Bears defense, they've kept them in a lot of games, all right? Jaquan Brisker has looked incredible. You've got Jalen Johnson, who's been an absolute stud. We've got guys on this team on the defense side of the football that have really impressed. Some guys have had struggles. Kyler Gordon absolutely had his struggles early on as well. But we're talking about a young defense that Matt Eberflus has coached them up, and they've been pretty solid. Against the pass, they have been borderline elite top 5. But against the run, they have been really, really, really bad. Okay, they're the bottom 5 defense against the run. The reason I'm giving this defense still a B minus is because they just don't allow a lot of points. They'll give up a lot of yards, but they don't. Now that will change because I told you I think this Bears defense is going to get worse, but it's fine. Thus far, though, through the first half of the season, I'll give them a B minus. Okay, let's move over to the special teams. Another B here for the Bears. I'll say that The return game has not been good because we've got Velus Jones Jr. who kept muffing punts and everything, and you couldn't find a good returner. But I got to tell you, folks, our kicker is incredible. Cairo Santos has been lights out. So he's literally an A, and then the return game, the punt return game, has been literally like a D, so like, or a C. So like, you take that in the middle, I'll just give him a B, B minus. But Santos has been great. We can't return punts because Velus Jones Jr. keeps muffing them, and we needed a new guy there. So special teams, I'll say a B. Coaching, I'm going to go ahead and say a B again. Luke Getsy really struggled early on with this play calling, got better, and has looked really, really good. So the offensive play callings look better. The defensive play calling has been solid throughout. So this to me just screams a B. It's been solid, has not been elite. The coaching has gotten better. We finally built an offense around Justin Fields, and it's looking much, much better. So overall, I will give the coaching a B. All right, so let me give a final overall grade for the Bears the first half of the season from my expectations to what they've done thus far. And so remember, my expectations weren't a lot of wins. And my expectations were like development of Justin Fields, the offense, and focusing on those things. So if I take a look at that through the first 8 games, I would give the Chicago Bears a B minus C plus. That's probably where I feel that this team is right now. The offense is trending up. Justin Fields trending up. The play calling has been looking better and better, but the early part of the season was brutal. It was brutal to watch, and that really takes away a lot of it. If we had what we had in the last 2 or 3 games through the entire 8 games, yeah, this would probably be like an A, but I can't give that because of the struggles early on. So I'm going to say B minus C plus, my overall grade for the Bears, based off of expectations. I want to hear your guys' grades for the Bears. Give me your grade for the Bears from what you expected early on to if they've met those expectations. So B minus C plus means that is what I feel like they've met expectations with, right? It's been a little bit above average because of the turnaround that's happened in the last couple of weeks, or else the grade would have been really bad. So let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below as always. Thanks for watching.